Guys, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I thought we would do a peppermint bark. I know it's kind of popular for the holidays, but it's for a good reason. It's delicious. And it can be easily turned into a gift by going to the dollar store and picking up a $1 tin. You've got yourself a Christmas gift under $5. So stay tuned and I will show you how to get started. Okay guys, to get started you're going to want to create a double boiler, and all I've done to do that is take my medium saucepan, fill it with about 3 inches of water and get it on the boil, a high heat, and then put a microwave dishwasher safe bowl on top of the boiling water, the one that kind of fits your saucepan, and then add 16 ounces of white chocolate. Now you can use that almond bark. I think that's kind of what I'm using right now. It's the Food Lion version of the almond bark. It's just white chocolate. That's what you're looking for. You can use chocolate chips, like white chocolate chips. That's perfectly all right. But for 16 ounces, I just figured I'd buy the big pieces. All right, so excuse me. Once you get your 16 ounces of white chocolate into the double boiler, you're going to want to kind of scrape down the sides, kind of stir it every so often. You really don't want your chocolate to burn here because it will have like a bitter taste and a chalky consistency. But that's all you do to get started. You want to melt all your white chocolate, and once that's melted, I will bring you back. Okay guys, we're back. My chocolate has melted completely. That didn't take all that long, maybe 8 minutes I'd say. But you want to get it off the heat. I've turned my burner off, and now very carefully try to lift your chocolate up out of the bath. It is hot, so please be careful. Okay, now I have lined a cookie sheet with just some foil. I didn't want to use my baking sheets because at the end of the process we're going to be chopping up our almond bark, or I'm sorry, our peppermint bark, and I don't want to accidentally cut my very nice silicone baking sheets. Okay, so this white chocolate you're just going to want to spread on your cookie sheet. Very carefully because your bowl is very hot. Scrape the sides of your bowl, try to get all that white chocolate out of there. Set it aside, set your water aside too, don't get rid of it because we're going to be using it again. And just kind of spread your white chocolate evenly across your cookie sheet. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to cut it all up and it's going to be in pieces anyways. Just try to get as evenly as you can so that way it dries and hardens and thickens evenly, because you don't want to be working with melted chocolate. Okay, I think that's pretty evenly distributed, as best I can anyways. Okay. We're going to let this sit for at least an hour. Actually, there's really no time limit here. We're just going to let it harden completely. I'm going to let it sit here for about an hour, then I'm going to pop it in the fridge. And hopefully it'll like make this process a little bit faster. This isn't exactly a difficult recipe, however it is time consuming just because you have to wait for your chocolate to melt and then harden again. So let it sit here, come to at least room temperature, I'd say about an hour, and then pop it in the fridge for maybe 2 to 3 hours. I don't know. I'm going to test it out. It's been so long since I've made this, I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to take me. So just kind of keep checking it every so often. Bring it back out when it's completely hardened. I'll try to get an estimate of how long that is. But let it come to room temperature before you pop it in the fridge, and we'll be back when it's time for the next step. Okay guys, while my white chocolate is cooling in the refrigerator, we're going to start our dark chocolate, or just our regular chocolate topping. In that same double boiler, you're going to add 8 ounces of regular chocolate. And what I do to kind of intensify the flavor is I have these Ghirardelli, they're the Intense Dark 72% cocoa, I don't know. Anyways, I add 1 square to the regular chocolate. Now I do have a mix of semi-sweet and milk chocolate in here, and frankly I'm just using up my chocolate chips that I have in my pantry. But it is 8 ounces, which is 1 cup of chocolate of your choice, and I add 1 brick of that dark chocolate to just kind of intensify the chocolate flavor. So we're going to go ahead and add that to our double boiler, and we're going to get that boiling, or melting. And it's okay that there's the white chocolate remnants from the other waste not, want not. It's all going to turn into the regular chocolate anyways. And this is quite hot, so it's already starting to melt for me, which is great. I always feel like sometimes these take so long for the videos to get my point across. Alright, once that is melted, I will bring you back. Okay guys, my chocolate is nice and melted. I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat off, just so my chocolate doesn't burn. I don't want it to turn like chalky. But to this, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of whipping cream. Just start mixing it in. And then I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of peppermint extract. And 1/2 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I find that the vanilla kind of softens the harshness of the peppermint flavor, and it blends nicely with the chocolate. And we're going to go ahead and just give that a nice stir so that way it all gets melted in together. Just keep stirring. It'll all incorporate, I promise. You want it blended very well, so that way all those flavors have, they're all incorporated well, and you don't get a bite of too much peppermint. I like peppermint, I really do. I feel though that a lot of times at Christmas it's kind of like around like the fall season where it's the attack of pumpkin spice. I feel like a lot of people can go overboard with peppermint at Christmas time. And while I do love peppermint, in fact, peppermint mocha is my favorite coffee creamer, even in July. I just feel like if it's too much in one dish, it gives me heartburn, and it kind of is just like that sickeningly sweet, almost nausea flavor. And I don't really, maybe it's because I had too much Pepto-Bismol as a kid, I don't know. Alright, that is completely melted and completely incorporated through. So the next step would be to get my white chocolate, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my white chocolate that's been cooling in the refrigerator. I let it sit on the countertop for an hour, and then I put it back in the refrigerator for another hour, and it's completely firm to the touch, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now to that, I'm going to take my dark chocolate, or I guess regular chocolate that I've just melted, and very carefully, because my bowl is quite warm, I'm just going to start to spread it as evenly as I can across my white chocolate. Trying to get all that chocolate out of there, nothing goes to waste. And then just spread it evenly as I can. And it doesn't have to be picture perfect because it's all going to be broken up anyways. And so you'll get pieces of the white, pieces of the regular chocolate, pieces of both. You just want to kind of spread it as best you can. Okay. And then to this, I have peppermint. I have those buttermints, those Redbird buttered peppermints. They're the softer texture, I guess. I've crushed up 10, I think 10 or 12 of these peppermints, and what I did is I just unwrapped them, put them in a Ziploc bag, and beat the ever-loving you-know-what out of them with my rolling pin. And so you just want to crush them, sprinkle them on top, and this is mostly like to your liking. If you like a lot of peppermint, put a lot of peppermint on. If you're not crazy about it, just a couple, or maybe even leave them off. That's okay. Now to kind of zhuzh it up just a bit more, I've got these holiday sprinkles. I like these because they've got the little snowflakes in them, and then like the turquoise and the green and the red. Kind of a retro vibe, really. But I'm going to sprinkle some of those on, just to kind of up it a notch, as Emerald Lagasse would say. Bam. My sister used to love him. My dad loved him. All right, that looks good to me. Very festive. Now to this, we're just going to go ahead and pop this in the refrigerator for at least an hour. I would check on it after an hour, just to make sure it's setting right. Kind of press those bigger chunks down in there so they kind of dry with the ganache, or not the ganache, the chocolate. It's almost a ganache recipe. All right, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and I'll bring you back when it's chilled. Okay guys, we're back. My bark has set up in the refrigerator for, I'd say, an hour and a half. I wanted to just be very, very sure that it was done. And as you can see, it completely lifts up from the pan, which is good because I'm always afraid it's going to stick. Now I've been told, and I used to always just break it up, but I heard somewhere that if you cut it and try to triangle it, well, mine's coming apart regardless, but I guess it would work better if I had a chocolate cutter, and I do not, or like one of those bowl scrapers, I guess. I think it'd be fine if I just broke it up. Let's not be fancy, let's just stick with what I know, right? I like this because the chocolate on top is still, it's set completely, but it's not that hard candy chocolate. It's more of a soft, which I think is kind of nice. Some bigger pieces, some smaller pieces. It's meant to be a little messy. Okay, now that I've got them all, most of it all cut up, I have a tin just from the dollar store. It's a cute little Merry and Bright little snowman I bought at my Christmas haul from the dollar store. And I've just taken some some Christmas tissue paper, and I'm going to gently just lay my peppermint bark in the tissue, just enough to fill it. And then you just kind of wrap the tissue on top. And close up your tin. And then you have a very cheap, very inexpensive, but very thoughtful gift. If you liked my video today, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. And if you enjoy what I do here, I'd love to have you, so hit that subscribe button, and so you won't miss out on any other Christmas videos that I'm doing for the month of December. And I've got a few things planned for New Year's as well. So I will see you guys next time.